Hello, everybody. Hello, future. Well, today we have HumanKind, the hackathon winner of Hedera22. Yay! And we also have Zimbali Network, which is going to get into a little bit. We haven't had Zimbali on. So I want to introduce our panel. Charles Marquette is co-hosting along with Lance Lofgren and Wayne Dreadski. Hello, guys.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, I want to also welcome Jacob Shepard and Jeff McFarlane, who are the principals at HumanKind. Hello, Jeff and Jacob.
Hey there.
Hey,
Thanks so much for having us, guys.
that's great. And we have Sarah of Zimbali. How are you?
Hi, how you guys doing? This is Silton Collymore, CEO of Zimbali. It's great to be here with Hello Future for the very first time, and congratulations to HumanKind on your win.
Oh, that's very nice. Yes, we really want to say congratulations. That was a huge accomplishment, and we're really excited to have you on, guys. So let's get into it. So this is Hello Future Buzz, and it's already June 2nd, 2022. I want to ask you, Jeff, would you like to introduce the community to HumanKind and tell us a little bit about your experience with the hackathon?
Yeah, sure. My name is Jeff McFarlane. I'm an innovation strategist at the company I work for, and I'm also the co-founder of HumanKind. I actually got my start in music composition, of all things, writing music for PBS and that kind of stuff way, way, way back in the day, which translated into learning how to code somehow, and then an agency, and then here I am doing other stuff, design and all that kind of stuff. HumanKind, like the actual idea, if anybody's interested in where the idea comes
Absolutely.
from. Absolutely. Yeah, so there was a study done, I think it's an Oxford study, that said basically in 120 years, there's no job that we're doing right now that couldn't be done by a robot or artificial intelligence. And so that gets you to thinking pretty quickly. It's like, if that's not, it could even be faster than that, right? So gets you to thinking about like, well, how are we going to get food to eat? What are we going to get paid with? Like, what are our jobs going to be? What are our lives going to be? Because I'm not sure that as a species, we're ready to just say, nobody works. What's the future of work? And it kind of got into a debate with some of the folks we were with that, like, maybe the future of work is really about doing stuff in service of others. Maybe it really becomes charity. And then, COVID hit and all these other things. And it really kind of boiled down to, man, we need more kindness in this world. We need to make kindness a habit. And maybe there's a way that we can do that. And it turns out, Hedera was doing these great things, and DLT and the Web3 tech in general just democratizes so many things and makes so many things possible, like micropayments and all this kind of stuff, that it became a possibility to start looking at how we could kind of do that. And then HumanKind, so that was the genesis of the idea. And then it just became this much bigger thing about creating a marketplace where all the things that you do, the things that you post and do in service of others, you're rewarded for that. And it was originally in another token, and that's something that's going to be planned for the future. But you get rewarded for anything that you do or anything that you buy. All your activity is rewarded, and in this token that gives you back. And so essentially, it pays to do good things. The more you engage on our platform, the more you and the community that you're in service to get back. And you can choose any number of places you want to donate to. And you set up a small set of rules around them, and as soon as that activity or engagement happens, if some portion of the funds or payments or anytime there's engagement or money being changed hands on the platform goes into that donation wallet and gets dispersed by those rules that you set up. So it's a really easy and efficient way. Something that we can just kind of make a habit because we're already doing those kinds of things to do something kind for others without even having to really think about it. So that's kind of the genesis and the basis of the idea. That was a long-winded way to say it. Sorry.
Well, I know the Hedera community is very generous in its charity contributions. So that business model really resonates with me, and I think with the whole community. So good job on that. That's really, I know that Lehman was complimenting you on that also during the live stream of the hackathon. Jacob, let me ask you, when you were you watching the live stream, and what did you do when you heard that you were the big winner?
So I missed it by a little bit, and I actually found out through a tweet, believe it or not, that we had won. And at first, I was in disbelief. So obviously, I went back through and watched the video to the end. But I think just like the rest of our group, I mean, we're incredibly humbled by the opportunity to get this win. This is something that we've been wanting to do. It's something that we think can provide meaningful change, I would say, in the world. And the opportunity that Hedera is providing to us through this hackathon win, to further get this concept out there, to solidify it, go to market. I think it's amazing. I'm extremely excited. I'm very proud of our team, and I can't wait to see what's next.
I'm sure you would be really proud of your team. Well, tell us a little bit about the origins, Jeff, if you would, about what was the idea? When did the idea burst into you to do this deal, designer?
Okay. Yeah. So, so we actually participated in the 2020 hackathon and kind of developed the first part of HumanKind platform. So what we just talked about, the big genesis of the big vision that Jacob was alluding to. And I also want to say thanks to everybody as well. So I kind of left that out, but thanks to all the other participants, sponsors, judges, et cetera. But the deal designer was actually, that's kind of a separate idea that really needed to be part of this. You can create the best platform in the world. If you have no content on it that people can interact with, it quickly is going to fade away. And we needed a way that businesses and other people could actually post things that users wanted to interact with. Now, the idea for the deal designer actually is born out of something. It's kind of like one of those connecting the dots moments of something that was years and years ago. This is going to date me, but on a site called Mac Warehouse, where you pay $19.99 once a year. You pay $19.99, and they'd say, "Here's a piece of software." But if you get a bunch of other people to kind of get involved with this and buy this thing at $19.99, we'll unlock another product. We're not going to tell you what it is, and it would go on and go on like that for 30 days, and they would unlock 7 or 8 different products, all for that price of $19.99. It was a really good deal. So incentivize you to get a lot of people to share that on their own, and eventually they would get millions of people to buy this thing at $19.99, but everyone would benefit from it. That was the cool thing. It's like everyone seemed to benefit. The software companies got their money for it. They got a lot of awareness and people using their stuff, and then the users on the other end of that. And that was kind of the basis of volume discount. And then we just added this charitable match component to it. So that's just one of the deal types that we have on HumanKind, is this give back offer. And what essentially we're doing is using the smart contracts 2.0 to create a smart contract. We're composing that smart contract through a really easy to use form that allows merchants to create these really simple volume discount offers that have a charitable match. So if a certain number of purchases are made, everybody that's purchased it gets a certain amount back, and there's a matching amount that goes to their donation wallet and gets dispersed. So if I buy something at $10 and 5 of us buy it at $10, it goes to $9, et cetera. And that was the basis of the deal designer and what we did for the competition, and showed kind of where we're going to go with that from a roadmap, and did a demo of it. And that's I guess what got us to where we are today. So.
Well, let me ask you, because I know that we have done some work with charities. We had an auction where we raised a bunch of money in December for a charity, and it's kind of a lift to get charities on board to get donations. How has your experience been with that?
Well, and I think we were asked the same question in an interview yesterday, actually, and obviously Web 2 to Web 3, this is a good, we think it's a really good way to bridge that gap between those folks that are really into the traditional Web 2. This is how we collect donations. This is how we get it. This is how we do cause marketing. Cause marketing is a long game, and it is a loss leader for most companies. It's expensive, and it's time consuming, and it's hard. This is an easy way to get into it. And this is an easy way to make your surprise and delight your customers. and you can feel good about getting back to your community too. So I think the on-ramps for this from a charitable organization standpoint are going to be good, but you're right. Adoption is always difficult in some regard. I think when we roll out, it will be with an API that connects to all the 501c3s that are in a giant list of charitable organizations, but ultimately it will become bigger than that, and people can donate to the highly local, community things, more like GoFundMe or your local school and that kind of stuff as well. So I agree with you. Adoption is not simple, but this is such I think, a beneficial and easy to use tool that when we start to test it, we'll see for exactly what it means. But I think it will ramp up quickly. That's the hope anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a good time to build. Yeah, go ahead, Lance.
Sure. And speaking of ramp up that you just mentioned, just kind of curious what your roadmap looks like. And, I acknowledge that it might have changed now that you have this big win coming in and a lot more funds, but just curious kind of what you expect for the project and when you expect it to be live.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'll be and Jacob, feel free to jump in too, but I'll be terribly honest, we did not expect to win. So we were building regardless. We're going to, this obviously, Lance, this helps a ton, right? To be perfectly honest with everyone, like a couple of years ago, we were excited too, but we lost our developer to a better position. One of the guys on our team lost his dad to COVID. I lost my dad last year. And so it's been a couple of tough years, but we've never really kind of given up on this idea and this vision. We've always been building on it and still doing it. And we've reinvested every penny that we got from the previous hackathon has been back into this business. And we plan to do the same with this, as well as get back to we're going to give a portion of this to charities like we did the last time. So we are, I can't tell you a definitive date. I can tell you that we're excited by the opportunity, that we are meeting about this regularly to try and figure out the best minimum viable product. But we have so many ideas. The problem that we have really is prioritization and focus on those ideas and making sure that we come out with the minimum viable product and get to our go-to-market strategy as soon as possible. But we're closer than we've ever been. And that's all I can say right now. I can't give you a timeline, but I would hope in 3 to 6 months we'd have something that people can really kind of start to look at and test. But Jacob, do you want to weigh in on that at all?
Yeah, no, I think Jeff spoke to that in a great way. I think we've continuously reinvested everything that we can at every stage of the process. And we're committed to continuing to give back to the community as well. So part of our win for the hackathon, like the first thing we're doing is we're donating to our favorite charities, because we truly believe in that, as a standard way of operating. That being said, like, what is a specific timeline? What's roadmap? I think that we want to adopt more of our deal designer approach into what the first version of this is going to be. And I think Jeff did a great job of speaking to, what a potential timeline could be, 3 to 6 months. Obviously, we're interested in not just launching as soon as possible, but launching with the best possible partners as well. And obviously, sure, Hedera has been huge in that regard. I'm going to assume that they will continue to be a key partner for us. But we're going to look for those types of key partnerships going forward to kind of help us with the go-to-market strategy.
Very good. You also mentioned having a token. Would that be an HTS token minted on Hedera? And would that be more like a governance token for the platform or a utility token? Or can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I'll let Jeff speak a little bit to how we want some of that used. One of the things that we did, and one of the things I think that Lehman mentioned during the announcement, we've taken advantage of Hedera's distributed identity and verifiable credentials. That's something that we really like. We took advantage of the token service. And one of the things that we're thinking about with the token service is having we're calling it a, an HKind type token, where not only do people have their distributed identity, but they can start to tier up. So imagine as you're doing good, we have a verifiable way to say, how much good you've done. I think HKind is going to be a little bit of that. And with HKind, we're talking about doing other things as well, where again it unlocks other offers, or you're within a tier that gives you some kind of exclusivity. But I'm going to hand it over to Jeff to talk more about that. But yes, we did mint a token through HTS, and we're planning on using that going forward as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, you hit most of the high points. It was originally conceived. It wasn't something we came out with in the last version. But what we're doing with that is actually what Jacob mentioned. We're going to create a kindness score. And it's not to say somebody's more kind than it, but this is really about your engagement on the platform, and we'll tie the token to that. There'll be staking opportunities these are very future features, right? But HKind investment or staking opportunities with that. We've got the idea for pay it forward streaks. There can be something that if you buy for the next person or something like that, that rewards you more of the HKind, or random acts of kindness, some sort of a lightning promoted deal that we want you to do this, you go do it, and you get. So making kindness a habit, again, that's kind of the big vision. How do we make this something that we just do every day? We make the world a better place doing that. That's the HKind token at work. And then even things like NFT badges for your kindness score, stuff like that. So we've got a ton of ideas. And again, for us, it's really just, all right, these are the 7-8 things that we need to focus on to get to that go-to-market strategy. And but we plan on implementing everything at some point. We love them all. So
thank you, Jeff. I'd like to say hi to Christian Hasker. Hi, Christian.
Hey, Elizabeth. Hello, everybody. Great to be here.
Hey.
Nice to have you here. We're excited to have the winner of the hackathon. How was your experience with the Hackathon 22? It was probably pretty awesome seeing all these great entries.
It really was. Lehman commented that, and I agree 100%, the quality year on year is just improving so much. I mean, HumanKind was in either the very first hackathon we did or the second one. And I'm sure can also talk about that. The network's maturing, all the services are maturing, the ecosystem's maturing, and all the applications are just getting better and better. So it's been wonderful to see.
The entries were top shelf. I've got to tell you, I can't believe everybody got all this work done in 6 weeks. It was amazing to be in the hackathon. I myself enjoyed the experience greatly.
I know, Elizabeth, I was sad that your team didn't win anything, but that's not any reflection on you or the team. It's just it was an incredibly competitive field this year.
Well, we did win something. We won by being participating in it, and we have an MVP, and we're continuing to build. So I really appreciated the experience, and just knowing that HumanKind was in the 2020 hackathon. You'll be seeing me again in other hackathons, Christian. Don't worry about that.
Perfect. I love it.
Wayne, I'd like to get you in on this conversation. Would you like to comment on what you've heard so far?
Yeah, appreciate it bringing me in. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool. So first of all, congratulations on your hackathon winning. I had a question. I've known individuals, including myself, who've experienced losses, and I had a loss about a year ago or so. And my mom, when she died, they started naming all these buildings after her. She was a community activist. She has a prom named after her, buildings, all this stuff. And I was curious, is there a way maybe y'all could create like a smart contract or something on an end where individual can get some level of authenticity with a kind project, like for people who get memorials in their name? Because I say that because there's an opportunity there where I had to like do paperwork and all this. And I've always wondered, like, isn't there a way you can maybe streamline a process with this? I'm not even sure if this makes sense at all, to be honest. It's kind of out there and I've never like thought about it, but just with some of the, the conversation I've heard, I just started thinking, I was like, I wonder if there's a way at all where if an individual wanted to have like a way of, like, for example, with the prom they named after her, instead of someone like me having to do all the paperwork, signatures, and things like that, where, you could pretty much streamline it using technology you guys have developed.
Is that a question for HumanKind, I assume?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think everything that you just described is a perfect use case for smart contracts in general, right? Like doing the stuff that is typically really hard, could have a lot of legalese, and you need it to be verified. You need to have the security and trust, all that kind of stuff. That sounds like a perfect use case for a smart contract in general, right? I don't know that it's not something we've thought about really at HumanKind yet, but I mean, like I said, we've got a long list of ideas, and so maybe that just got another tick mark on the long list. But no, I hear you about losing somebody.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, Jeff. And one of the things that I would say, obviously, like when we're talking about cause-based donations, obviously like a GoFundMe type thing fits in. I don't know if that intersects exactly with what you were talking about, Wayne.
Yeah, for some aspects of it, definitely, some aspects of it, definitely. So, I mean, I definitely appreciate that insight out, just from a verification standpoint, because, they're like, well, we need to make sure this is really all of the siblings that are signing off on this paperwork. You're giving us permission to use your mom's name for the name of the special needs prom, this building, this memorial, things of that nature that they put up. She was a community activist. So I was just curious of, I'm way out there with my thought process with this, or something that could be tackled.
Well, there is a multi-signature aspect to any kind of smart contract, and let's talk about that, Wayne, because that's a really good use case that you might want to work on an application for yourself and for your charities. Unless, Christian, you have something else to add to that?
Oh no, I was just saying that's I mean, take that idea and run. And like you just mentioned, the multiple siblings and stuff. Yeah, verifiable distributed identity. That's part of it. So yeah, good stuff.
The awesomeness of the Hedera Smart Contract 2.0 is really infinite in its use cases, and I think as people become more aware of the power behind the contract, people will it'll blow their minds, and the fact that it's also secure and fast and affordable and ecologically friendly, carbon negative. I mean, it's a win-win. I've been watching the CT Twitter, and just like, Solana was only down for 6 hours. It's like, when Christian, when is everybody going to say Hedera? It's like we're ready. I think there's going to be a pop that happens that everybody's going to find out that Hedera is the network to build on.
I completely agree with that, and I'm super excited about that. And one thing to build on that Christian had mentioned earlier is when we had competed in the Hedera20 Hackathon, that was around the consensus service. That was the thing at the time. We have been very excited by each of the features that Hedera has released over time. It's amazing that there's a smart contract service that runs on, an Ethereum virtual machine now, based on that open source project that's been out there. Every single step of the way that Hedera has continued to innovate in this space is something that we've been excited about and latched onto, and been wanting to be a part of helping build.
Yes, I'm really excited about the changes in the past 12 months, and as things go on the internet, it's incrementally faster as time goes on. So 12 months from now will be light years ahead of where we even thought. I mean, Christian, everyone's seen your interview with King Solomon, and when you said that, you would have thought the council members would have been here in 2 years. Sometimes things are slower and sometimes things are faster. It's just but Hedera makes things stable as they go along. They don't rush things. So that's one of the things that I think everybody in our space understands and appreciates about Hedera. So, Charles, would you like to comment on some of the things you've heard?
Yeah, sure. I think that it's a great idea and project. I'm really glad that you guys won. I kind of need to look a little bit more into humankind myself, but I'm all about altruism, and I think we need the more of that, the merrier in this space. It's kind of a crazy space, and so yeah, looking forward to seeing y'all's progress in the future.
Yes, I want to welcome you to Jacob and Jeff and HumanKind to Twitter. You guys are all new to Twitter, so we'll welcome you into the Hedera community, and we're a pretty active community and supportive community. So I hope everyone that's here in the space right now and that's listening to the recording later on gives a follow to HumanKind and Jeff and Jacob, and welcomes them to the community. I'd also like to say, Zimbali, what have you been hearing and about this space? Maybe you'd like to contribute something to the conversation.
Well, absolutely. I think that anytime you can incentivize kindness by not pre-incentivizing it, right? Like it's like as a consequence of participation in what you know to be kind, what you know to be beneficial to another person, and then you're able to take some benefit and then redistribute it back to your community. People are always watching other people, right? People are always learning from other people. And so if they see that as a consequence of how you operate in the world, and then they see that there is a benefit, right? They say nice guys finish last, but with humankind, that won't be the case anymore, right? Nice people will finish first over and over and over again. And you develop a winner's mentality, a winner's community, a winner's attitude about being good to other people. And so, this is the type of project that we need. And because the costs are so low, the activities are so secure, the speed is so great, it makes it easy for people to do the right thing over and over again without considering consequences or cost or anything like that. So I'm really glad to see that these are the types of projects, not just the ones that are go financial, that are being supported by Hedera and by the community.
Yes, Clayton, that's a wonderful way to speak about it, because it can be made a habit, just as like anything can be made a habit. So I know that Jeff is going to have to jump out the spaces, but we really enjoyed meeting you, Jeff, and please come again.
Thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it. And we're, like Jacob said, we're super excited, humbled, grateful, but super excited about what we're heading for. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Okay, get back to work.
Right.
And Jacob, I guess you're sticking with us for a little while, but I wanted
Yes, I'd love to hang out.
Oh, thank you so much. I wanted to give Zimbali Clayton a chance to also talk a little bit about what's going on at the Zimbali Network, because this is your first time on our spaces also, so you have a chance to tell the community what you're all about.
Hey, thank you so much. My name is Sultan Collymore, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zimbali Networks. Similarly to HumanKind, Zimbali was designed to enable people to find their better selves through economic freedom. What we know is that around the world, there have been movements, at least for the last 100 years, toward freedom. But a lot of that freedom has been legal or physical, political, and otherwise. But we know people don't maximize themselves unless there's an economic component. Economic freedom really tells you what people's interests, goals, and dreams are about. And for too long, a lot of the centralized economy and the centralized financial system took away the power of individuals and communities to self-actualize on economic freedom. In fact, economic freedom was only found on the other side of a banking relationship. And so through the power of Hedera, which I discovered in the fall of 2017, I was Hedera ambassador number, actually, it wasn't even Hedera then. It was Hashgraph ambassador. They hadn't released the name Hedera yet because Hedera is the public network implementation. I was Hashgraph ambassador number 38 when Kyle Armour ran that ambassador group. And I met Lehman and Mance in New York City at the public reveal in 2018, and then again in Dallas in 2018 for the first developers conference. And through that, I realized that the only way to achieve our goal of extending financial freedom, economic capability, and self-realization to everybody across the world was to build on a system that was secure, that was fast, and that was economical to do so. And the other implementations of distributed ledgers just were not fit for purpose for that, right? You have to operate at an economic scale. You have to do 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 transactions per second. And that's exactly what Hedera allows you to do without breaking the bank. Lehman Baird is an inspiration. I mean, people talk about, say, Elon Musk and, some of these other folks that are just known for their wealthy corporate actions. But Lehman solved a problem that was a critical problem in both math and organizational management, this ABFT thing. And he did it in a way that was so efficient that it's actually carbon neutral, almost carbon negative. I mean, that is genius work. And, I am grateful to the work that he's done, to the work that Mance did in bringing this system to the people and allowing us to participate in this economy and in this technological revolution and build Zimbali directly on it.
And we've been advocates here at Hello Future Buzz since the beginning on the unbanked and the underbanked. And I know that Wayne is also very interested in reaching to underserved communities. I wanted to just, oh, hi, Jim. You're here too, if you want to say hello. Yes, Lam.
Hey, Sultan. This is Lance. Just wanted to ask, I appreciated you kind of explaining your vision and kind of enabling people and, building the foundation for economic freedom. Just curious how you're leveraging Hedera, what types of services or products you're offering, and really how you're going about achieving that mission.
Wonderful question. I'm glad you asked that. And hi, Jim. Glad to see you here. Jim actually is a mentor in a program that we're participating in currently called Outlier Ventures, running the Hedera Base Camp. When Zimbali Networks started, we said, well, what would be an effective way of implementing economic freedom? And, from my perspective, Zimbali's name means Valley of Flowers. It comes from a Zulu word, and I was working in South Africa at the time. And what I noticed was that there were people who wanted to create businesses who couldn't afford to do so because the technology was too expensive and the hurdles to going into business were too expensive. And so Zimbali was initially forged to enable small businesses to accept payments utilizing both crypto and fiat. But then through the growth and the implementation of Hedera with the HCS, which allows you to do on-chain, off-chain consensus implementation and modeling, HTS, which allows almost turnkey implementations and releases of tokens, both fungible and non-fungible. And then the smart contract system 2.0, which gives you, I think it's 18 times the current EVM capability of, implementing smart contract services at the lowest cost in the industry, we realized we could do a lot more. And so we started building an infrastructure that not only allowed for payments, but allowed for countries to build their CBDC platforms on. And then when we did that, we saw how well that worked. So we built the vault area where nation states such as Haiti, Armenia, Nigeria could build their CBDCs. We said, well, those have to connect somehow, right? You can't just issue money and then have it in the vault. Money has to move, right? So you have to connect it with a wallet to a user. You have to connect it to businesses, and you have to connect it to banking entities. But then what happened in 2022 was we looked around and we said, okay, a lot of people are kind of focusing on that. So Hedera can solve that problem, but maybe there's a greater thing that we could do and leverage. And so we started looking at a true DAO implementation on Hedera that would allow for basically unlimited banking in the geographic sense, almost like a digital credit union that spanned the globe, where individuals in a community could decide upon a project, and that project could be a new business, or it could be building a factory, or it could be enabling the bills of credit for their industries to be able to sell goods and services overseas and make hard currency to support their economy. But instead of us limiting and determining which silo they were in, we said we'd build a DAO service that allowed people to create their own capital pools, fund it, issue the capital, and receive the returns and implement it directly back into the community. And so we're in the process of building that future DAO. This is a DAO that doesn't really exist in the world and not on other platforms yet. And we're getting a lot of help from Outlier Ventures, from Techstars, Expert Dojo, and some other organizations and some of our mentors in analyzing what do people really want. Because we can imagine all we want, what we would like to put into the market and what would be cool and right, what's, whatever my biases are, I'm driven toward fixing. But what do people really want? They want to be able to make their own decisions and their own determinations about how their income and their time and their investments are spent.
Wow, very interesting. Big plans too. I mean, that's amazing. Curious, with that DAO, are you building infrastructure for communication, for governance, for making these decisions? I mean, really the full package around that, or are you kind of leveraging other solutions?
Well, it's a day-by-day process. What we're doing is we're looking at the best in the industry, right? So there are reputation systems, for example, to help with governance. There are mechanisms to ensure that payments that are distributed go to the right people, so on and so forth. And some of these capabilities don't exist in the current environment in Hedera. So wherever there are gaps, we're looking at what would it take to engineer something and then make it available to the community, right? Because we can't be the only one doing this. We might be the vanguard, but it's really important to deliver these services and products back into the community because there's somebody maybe listening to this Twitter space who has an idea way better than mine, way better than my team. And if they had access to the technology that we develop, they could create something that's extraordinary. So we're doing everything very deliberately with intention, and we're analyzing all the current best-in-class systems that allow for things like governance, staking, reputation management, payback, doing assessments of how treasuries are managed, buffering, I spent time working at the Federal Reserve, and actually our current CTO also was working at the Federal Reserve as one of their chief ML scientists, right? And so we're looking at how the industry operates. How does normal finance operate? How do you protect and mitigate risk for the people that are participating in this? We don't want to create a system that creates risk for people of few means, right? We want to create a system that rewards them, that they can build on, that they trust. And so as we go forward and build each activation on our platform, we'd love to come back to Hello Future Buzz. We'd love to talk with Christian and show him what we're doing. We spent a lot of time with Sabrina Tadichin and some of the other folks that are part of the HBAR Foundation, showing off what we're delivering into the market or plan on delivering into the market on a monthly basis. So anyone can reach out to us and find out more. And if you'd like to participate, you can hit us up at founders@ZimbaliNetworks.com, and it will come right to us, and maybe we'll have a conversation.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Silton. Great to hear from you again. Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here and just talking a little bit about your project. And I had two questions for you. First, just I don't know if many people in the community are really aware of or have much insight about the OV Basecamp. So I think that might be interesting, for you to share whatever you feel like sharing. Second thing, and again, whatever you feel like sharing. I know when you and I spoke on April 22nd, you guys had some exciting underserved markets that you were looking at. And again, I don't know what is confidential, what isn't, but I think it might be, it might be great for people to understand specifically where you guys are trying to drive this idea.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you for being a support all these years. I remember when I was living and working at the Fed, and Zenobia had introduced us, and you were just like at the vanguard then, and you're still active in the community now. So I really appreciate your support. Outlier Ventures and the Basecamp program has been a generational enabler for us in our growth, in our understanding of the metrics, the economics, the engineering, the market for how you deliver distributed ledger products to the world. Because the metrics aren't quite the same as just starting a business, right? You have to capture interest by capturing a community's imagination and having them believe in you and having them believe in the fact that not only do you have the best technology available, we're all here because of Hedera, but you also have their best interests at heart. And so the Basecamp program keeps probing and keeps analyzing and asking, right? Is this where you want to be? Is this where you want to plant your flag? Is this really delivering to the market what your actual vision is? Or are you compromising? Or are you short selling? Right? You should go for it. We have the best technology in the world, some of the best technologists and advisors in the world. So what you envision, go out and actually build that thing. And so it's really been a fantastic program for us. I'm sad that there's only about 6 more weeks. Of course, the relationship goes on afterward, but we won't be front and center as the current class. Beyond that, as a business enterprise, because we are a for-profit company, we look at markets around the world that would benefit directly from implementations of our software and services today, right? If we can go into Haiti and make reputational-based payment and investment services work, and distribute decentralized IDs to people who may not have a formal ID system, that changes Haiti today. That's not a program plan, by large international governmental agencies. It's, a 10-year lift, and, they put in a certain amount of money and then they wait to see it work, but they haven't quite funded it all the way. These are things people can capture and use that change their lives today. It's the same thing for Dominican Republic, for Armenia, for the Baltic states and the Balkans as well, the Middle East, West Africa, and people always seem to forget. There's a huge population of underserved, and I don't want to say underbanked because that's an overused term. I'm not even sure what that means anymore. Just because there's a bank doesn't mean someone wants to use it. So financial inclusion is kind of a misnomer because a lot of people don't want to participate in the financial system because they don't trust it and they don't like it. So if you create a system for them that they can use that meets them where they are, in their pocket, on their phone, and they can use, whether we're in Beirut or Baltimore, right? Cameroon or Cupertino, doesn't matter. You can bring people together of common interests in a global community without siloing people into countries, because that is not the natural way of humans. Humans love to collaborate and they like to work with people who have common interests. And that's what Zimbali enables through our platform.
Wow, that's really that's beautiful. And I'm so glad that Jacob, you got to hear from Zimbali. Also, you have a lot in common in terms of humans and being kind to each other.
Yeah, there's no question. I will say I'm very impressed by everything that was just discussed. And I think that there is a lot of opportunity for collaboration within these ideas going forward.
I look forward to it.
I think that's one thing that our community does well, even in the NFT space. I remember when it was just starting last summer, it's like, what's a collab? Why is everybody collabing with everybody? It's like, but that's how all these NFT projects, right, Lance? They're all collabs.
Yeah, collaboration in this community. It's great.
It really is great. So I encourage you both to get to know each other. And the outlier aspect of your growth, Clayton, is really very good. And they're working with the HBAR Foundation, I believe, onboarding other projects.
That is correct. They are, and they're very active. They're very keen on enabling best-in-class projects to come to light, but they also will work with you if you just have an idea and don't know how to get from A to B. And so I encourage everyone, if you have a great idea, don't know where to start, talk to the folks at Outlier, find out more about Basecamp, look at the projects that are already being funded by the HBAR Foundation. They have been a lifesaver. Before anybody else invested, they did. And so they are a champion for our dreams and what we plan to do to make a change in the world. So I want to thank them very much.
Thank you. Lena, I just sent you an invitation. I'd love for you to accept that so that you can hear what we have to say about the Hedera Hackathon also. And thank you for all your work that you did on the hackathon. I know that 6 weeks was a long time in a lot of respects, and it was such a short time. And I know, Jacob, you did an amazing job in 6 weeks. I couldn't believe all the slick video and the concept and everything that you did in such a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, we're extremely blessed, I would say, to have the diversity in our team to be able to put all of that together. So we have people that are great on the pitch side. You guys heard from Jeff. And obviously design, marketing, you guys have seen our pitch. And then execution, like really being able to bring together that kind of way to think about. So if you want to innovate, design, develop, and deliver is how I talk about it. Our ability to do that with a pretty small group, that is probably the thing that I was most proud about.
Yeah, well, to have a group like that and deliver such a slick product, you must be really all in sync with each other. But hello, Lena, how are you? Are you all rested up from the work you've been doing with the hackathon?
Hey, thanks for having me on, Elizabeth. Not resting up yet because consensus is next week. So after one thing ends, another thing starts.
It never ends.
No, not at all.
What was your experience? Tell us what it was like from your end on the hackathon.
The experience was great. I think in the previous years we've done 4 weeks for the hackathon, so we decided from the advice of DevPost, which is the platform we use, to try a 6-week hackathon to give people a little more time to spend, to build their projects. And this year we saw a tremendous amount of high quality projects, like from all of the judges all around. They have gone back to us and said, you guys all made their job so hard. So, to you and everybody else who participated, thank you so much for raising the bar on all of our hackathons. It's always great to see new people join us and all of the great projects that kind of come out of that.
I have a question. Like, can you judge at all from the entries that you saw how many people were submitting through the hackathon that were first-time Hedera users?
I can't tell you off the top right now. I'd have to look into the data, but I can say that at least last year we had about 700 registrations, and this year we had about 2,500. So I believe the difference between those two numbers are net new people, or at least people who are net new to joining our hackathon since the last year. There may be people who have joined our community since then, but they haven't really done much in regards to hackathons and building applications on us yet.
So that's quite an increase.
Yeah, we're really excited to see those numbers.
Did you have any idea that it was going to be so many people, or did it catch you by surprise?
It definitely caught me by surprise, and it was a very pleasant surprise. I think it's always great to see our community grow, and then I think the great thing too about this hackathon, right? We had folks like yourselves who may not be as technical, who were able to find ways and to find teams to get them involved, and I think that was really great to see.
Yeah, no, it was really great.
Hi, I just wanted to let everyone know I have to jump off. We have a meeting with Visa next week. We are going to be pitching, and we were the Visa Everywhere Initiative Black Founder winners for Visa this past February. And we were invited to come speak and talk about creating brand new digital systems and crypto-based systems that will enable a new future for crypto payments at the Visa World Payments Forum next week. So we'll be there speaking. But I want to encourage everyone to reach out to us. Again, you can reach out at founders@ZimbaliNetworks.com. On the call right now is also Jordan Strudwick. You can reach Jordan at ZimbaliNetworks.com. He's our Web3 community manager, and he can help shepherd or inform everyone about our very first application called Just Pay Me. Just Pay Me is a global payments app that unifies crypto and fiat in one and lowers the price of doing business across the world. That will be launching this fall. Reach out to Jordan, talk to him about that, talk to him about community management and building up Web3. And as always, I want to encourage everyone to follow the Butterfly, follow Zimbali Networks on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on LinkedIn. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for our time on Hello Future. Thank you to the winners from HumanKind again, and for all the listeners. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Well, we are almost at the top of the hour. We have 4 more minutes. So I just want to give you, Jacob, an opportunity to leave the community with some parting words, if you have any.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think that our ability to engage with Hedera and other, I would say, creators, founders, forgers in this space is something that we're looking forward to. So I had not heard about Zimbali prior to this call. I'm very excited after hearing about the work that they're doing, how there's an opportunity for us to kind of compound the value that we want to add, I would say, through the Hedera network and out to the world, right? And that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. And we would say the same thing. Anyone that sees an opportunity that intersects with this, we would love to hear from you guys.
Oh, thank you, Jacob. Yeah, that's the one great thing about Twitter Spaces. I know this was your first one, and I hope it's the first of very many, because we really do connect with the community. And what Hello Future Buzz tries to do is connect use cases and different platforms with the community so that we all know each other. So it's really, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, I would say mission accomplished there for sure. So we appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Well, I want to thank Lance and Charles and Wayne, as always. And Jim. Yes, Wayne?
No, I was just saying, oh yeah. You know, typing it up. How I go.
You always add so much to the conversation, Wayne. We love you. And Jim and Lena and Christian had to jump off too. Everybody's so busy, but we really appreciate everybody coming today. And we'll end this space, which is, as we always do, with Hello Future. And let's all get back to work. Have a great evening, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.